everyone. How are you all doing? We'll have the doctors join us soon to share their experiences and everything, so let's just wait. All right, let's have them join us. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Let's wait for others to join. So, how's your schedule been these days?
Pretty okay. We've been having 6 6 12 hour shifts and then night off. So yeah, shifts in PP, you can understand.
Yeah, hopefully you can share your experiences today to our audience who are not much aware, and maybe they can get like a peep into your lifestyle these days.
Yeah, definitely. We are waiting for Dr. Namrata and Dr. Rukmi to join. And Namrata is my immediate senior, and Rukmi is 2 years senior to me. And they have always been an inspiration to me.
Yeah, you all have been an inspiration to me and like our young family members as well. Dr. Namrata and Dr. Rukmi, if you're online, you just have to scroll up and request to join. Wow, we have so many people join us. It's so nice to see.
Yeah. So how's the COVID situation in Singapore, Ishita?
Yeah, actually, it's getting better, but just like a week back, we had like a few cases arise again, which is why a few schools closed down. But it's getting in control back again.
Nice.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Rukmi.
Hi.
So much for
Hi.
having me, Shita.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So before we get started to everything, first of all, thank you so much to all of you. Can we all, as an audience, give like a clap emoji in the chat? Thank you so much for all the sacrifices. It takes a lot of courage and enthusiasm for everything you guys are doing. So let's give them a clap virtually, all of us.
Well, I would like to add that, Ishita, you have done a great job, like on your part by creating awareness and having that social media presence. That itself matters a lot, also. So
Thank you
kudos
so
to
much. All right, so maybe you guys can like swipe the chat and see the admiration you guys are getting, and maybe then we can get started with each of you introducing yourself. Like obviously, I have you roughly on our photo where we promoted, but then you can introduce yourself and like what you're specifically working under. Yeah. So maybe Dr. Shauri can start us.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shauri, and I'm currently working as resident under the COVID Bond Task Force at Goa Medical College.
Thank you so much. Namrata, Dr. Namrata.
I'm Dr. Namrata working at South Goa District Hospital, Madgaon. It's a COVID hospital.
Okay.
Rukmi,
Hi, I'm Dr. Vairankar. I am a junior resident in the Department of Anesthesiology. Currently working in Goa Medical College itself, mostly in intensive care units. So that's where I
Mhm.
mostly practice.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just saying to Dr. Shauri that maybe before we dive into our conversation, we can discuss, like, you can talk about your current schedules, when's your next duty, and everything, because it was so last minute for everyone because it's hard to like coordinate with doctors, especially.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share what's your schedule for the next week, or I know it's unpredictable, but just tomorrow and everything.
Yeah, so basically we are working in shifts of 12 hours. So it's 8 to 2. If it's 8 to 2 today, tomorrow it's 2 to 8, and then we have 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., and then we have off. So next day again 8 to 2. So these shifts are a bit better because previously our seniors, residents were working in shifts of 12 hours at a stretch when we were interns. So now, since we have joined as residents under the COVID Bond Task Force, definitely a lot of burden on GMC has been reduced.
Mhm.
And the shifts are much lighter for our seniors and junior residents as well.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Rukmi?
Well, and my shifts still remain 12-hour shifts. Though fortunately we have, I mean, in our department we do COVID duties every alternate week. So this week I'm going to be in COVID from tomorrow onwards. And yeah, our shifts are still 12 hours, and you do 12 hours day, 12 hours night, and then you get an off. So that's how we work in COVID. I'm currently posted in the COVID ICU. So
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
it's quite hectic, but at the same time, when we see patients going out healthy and breathing room air, it's quite satisfying as well.
Mhm. Wow, it's hard to know what actually keeps you all going. Almost like superhuman capabilities, like you yourself are in the surrounding, how you keep yourself safe, how you keep them safe, how you treat them.
I think Rukmi and Namrata keep me going. Looking at them gives me a lot of inspiration and motivation. If they are doing it, even I can do it. So it sort of drives me.
Shauri just graduated. We should give her a clap.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
It is her
Thank
first
you.
And
a
like she
resident
said,
doctor.
them joining is a great help for all of us. Otherwise, it will be just us junior residents. Now we have a COVID bond task force.
Yes,
I like the name.
CBTF.
and what about you, Dr. Namrata? What's your schedule? Please.
It's just like Dr. Shauri's schedule. 12 hours.
Okay. So I think it's like
But I'm in ICU. I'm just posted in the ward or in casualty.
okay.
And the amount of hard work is the same. It's the same in casualty or ward. Little chaos.
Also to mention, Rukmi has pulled off 24-hour shifts also continuously. I don't know how she has done it and how so many doctors do it. So it's very, very commendable.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to even like believe like say it's
Yeah, you cannot.
or commend
Yeah,
like an understatement. I mean, just can't even imagine how you would do it.
yeah.
What keeps you going? Like I know you've said it's an inspiration and everything, but like intrinsic motivation has like a limit. Like I don't know how you guys
It does.
what
It does. Like you said. There are days when I'm sure I speak for most of the residents in we have been pushed to the but we have to keep going. We've actually got no choice, and sometimes we don't feel like going for duties. There are days when you don't feel like going, but then you have to go on because you know
There's no choice.
we are, yeah, we're kind of the only hope for people of Goa currently. So that's what I think keeps me, because our knowledge right now is helping people a lot. So we've got to be there for this.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's very much evident with like all the other organizations like COVID Service Goa, where you're posting videos to help people understand, especially Dr. Shauri's recent video on mucormycosis, which he also posted on our content webpage. It was like really informative, and like this like platform, how you're utilizing it so well, like awareness.
We already have many cases of around seven, I think, 7 cases of mucormycosis already in Goa. And we recently had an individual in his 20s. It was so extended even to his eye that we had to undergo enucleation, that's removal of eye.
Yeah,
How
in
do you
fact,
even like?
like
I'm
even in our OTs, we, almost have cases coming every duty. The people are being operated almost every duty for mucormycosis. So there are quite a lot of cases. And there's no explanation to it exactly, but yeah, it's happening.
Because COVID as a whole suppresses the immunity of an individual, and on top of it you have steroids, you have uncontrolled diabetes, which kind of predisposes to mucormycosis.
right. And how's like the general like response to the vaccines and everything? And like, do you have many people who are already vaccinated coming for treatment again because they got COVID, or like has it reduced?
So
Yes.
I have been posted in COVID casualty. It's been a week. I'm posted in COVID casualty, and I can tell you, all those who are above 45, most of them should have been vaccinated by now. So out of all those who are admitted with moderate to severe pneumonia, none of them have taken the vaccine. 90% of those people who have been admitted with moderate to severe COVID pneumonia have not taken their vaccine. Hardly 5 to 10% have taken their first dose. So you can imagine there is still a long way to go. People need to take their vaccines, not believe in any particular political party. Don't involve politics in this. We are here to save life, our own life. And for that, you need to go and take your vaccine.
That is true. In fact, a lot of people who have been admitted in the intensive care, we've noticed that a majority of them are not vaccinated, and majority of them have only either taken only their first dose. So I think vaccination has helped a lot. Even healthcare workers, we've noticed that they have got infected. It's not like it prevents you from getting infected, but yes, the severity of the disease is less. So
Okay. And like, how's the situation right now with the vaccine? Is there a shortage, or like what's the situation?
I think there's some internet connection.
Hmm.
I think there's a power cut down in Margao
Yeah, there's a
because even my
yeah,
electricity went off.
light daily.
Someone even commented light Gilly. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
right, what's keeping us going? It's just what each one and other. So we know that our cousins, then our seniors, our juniors, we all are working and we are all in this. So there's no question of quitting right now. So we just can't make a choice and we have to take this as a challenge and battle it off. That's what is happening with most of us. Mm. It gets really overwhelming sometimes. It gets really tiring emotionally and physically. Like, both of them are going to agree with me.
Yeah, it
But we just,
is.
the vaccines you mentioned not people are taking? Like, what's the main reason? Is it because the rumors that are going, or the forwards and everything, or is it actually like the shortage and like the
As far as 45 above 45 age group is concerned, there is no pre-registration that is required. You can just walk in with your Aadhaar card. Plus, vaccines are free. So I don't think there is any barrier as such to taking vaccines. It's just the myths and WhatsApp forwards, I feel, because of which people are not taking. Or maybe some people really are not aware about vaccine, especially those who live in remote areas. That could be a possibility.
okay.
But then people from cities also haven't taken their vaccine, all those who stay in main areas. So I think it's just the myths that are going around. What do you think, Rukmi?
Yeah, I mean, there are people have a lot of reasons for not taking vaccination, and whatever it is, I think people should realize that. I mean, we've already lost a lot of lives, so now that 18 to 45 age group is being vaccinated, I think as many people should go ahead and get themselves vaccinated as much as possible because it is helping people. I just read a question down there. Somebody has asked whether the second dose people have got infected and severe infection even after the second dose. I haven't seen people getting severe infections after the second dose. But then again, that does not mean that you completely become immune to everything. If you are prone to getting a severe disease, there is always a slight possibility that you might contract the infection. So precautions are important. I think people shouldn't stop taking precautions in general. Yes, get vaccinated, but then keep taking precautions as much as possible. Avoid gathering in closed spaces. Wear your mask at all times. So yeah,
And
I think
also,
that.
yeah, that's a good point as well. Like you mentioned, the, might not be awareness, but so many as well. Someone that even in the remote areas people have been vaccinated. I think it's just pure care. But I was also curious. Just few days back, Doctor, she was talking about how PP kids, everything. Like, what's the situation now? Like, bird sort of problems, disposing and everything. And I also COVID, they were like showcasing videos of like trash in the hospitals. How's the like hygiene in hospitals?
Um, I think a few weeks back, the situation, I mean, it's still bad. So I mean, the number of cases was so much that
There
there
was
was
so
a
much.
huge pressure on the hospital. So I think waste disposal was happening, but then, people catch hold of things that I mean, sometimes it's not under their control. Our healthcare staff also tries. There are workers who try to clear as much of garbage and things that accumulate in wards as much as possible. But our healthcare
Yeah,
system is so burdened that wards with 30 beds, there were 70, 80 patients. So in that situation, it was very difficult to pay attention to things like hygiene and waste
yeah,
disposal. So yeah, it was being neglected to an extent. That's what even I've noticed. Hygiene was neglected to an extent, but there were things that we couldn't help. It was quite we were all quite helpless at that point.
And I think people should also be a
People
bit
should
responsible,
understand
you
that,
know.
yeah, people should
Yeah,
be a little responsible as well. I mean, PPE kits are not the only thing that's creating a nuisance. I mean, people. So, I mean, that
They don't.
shouldn't be the only
Yeah.
thing that spreads. There are times when people don't wear masks and then the people are afraid. Like there was one incident that happened in Margao. It was quite unfortunate where some healthcare worker was asked to leave a housing society just
yeah.
because,
yeah.
yeah, it was something related to disposal of PPE kits only. So, I mean, I don't think people should be worried about contracting the disease just from, incorrect disposal of PPE. So they can contract the infection. I mean, unless you don't wear your mask properly, you can contract your disease, like the disease from other places as well. But our
And also,
hospital does try, it's like try
Same
their
thing
best to
actually.
dispose it correctly.
Yeah, we have
Mask
specific colored bins for specific things. Like we have a red bin for all the gloves and goggles, and yellow bin for the blue or your white PPs. So we do have a proper system.
we have a few,
there's a question there.
yeah, we have a few questions here. So if the person is recovered, so after how many months he or she is eligible to take the vaccine?
3 months.
And there's another,
The latest thing it's 3 months, right, Shauri?
Sorry,
Eligibility for vaccines after testing
after testing positive is 3 months.
3 months. Okay.
So if you have been COVID positive, you can take your first dose after 3 months. If you have been positive after taking your first dose, then second dose you have to take at 3 months. And if you have been hospitalized for any other condition or you were in ICU, then you have to wait for at least 1 to 2 months before taking your vaccine. That's according to the new guidelines. And also to mention that lactating women can also take their vaccines because it is found that the virus is not present in the breast milk, but antibodies can be transmitted to the baby through milk. So it's beneficial to the baby. Right now, there are no guidelines on pregnant women being vaccinated in India. So currently, pregnant women cannot take until we have some further guidelines.
and there was,
There's another question
yeah, go ahead.
about mucormycosis. To stay safe from mucormycosis, you have to wear a mask and you have to wash the mask at least every 6 hours. You have to change the mask very often.
Try your N95 mask in sunlight.
Don't wear the same N95 mask. You can use it after 4 days
Yeah, use it in rotation.
in rotation. That's what I mean.
I
Have
think
enough.
the general public has to worry more about
Different-
getting COVID rather than mucormycosis.
Yeah.
So first try to stay safe from that.
Like a
There's
while
another
back,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Do we have enough medical staff support in Goa? No, we don't.
It's never enough.
But now
It's
Now
never
we-
enough, correct.
there is shortage of doctors. And
What are your thoughts on Covaxin not being included in the WHO vaccine list?
oh, smart question.
Currently, government is giving
Currently, it has to
Covishield.
be- yeah. I think we have to. I mean, that depends on the authorities. Whatever they give, we've got to take. So.
Yeah, any vaccine you go and take, it's equally efficacious, and both have minor side effects. So,
Also, I wanted to ask you like the situation that happened like a while back. I think Dr. was talking about how one family member broke the equipment in the hospital.
yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about it? What happened?
So I think there was a very serious patient and he expired. So the relatives just got angry and broke the ventilator. So you can imagine the kind of violence. He could even do something to the doctor on duty or the staff on duty. And that ventilator could be used for someone else, someone who really needs it. There are patients on waiting list for ventilators. We don't have enough of them. So please don't be harsh on your healthcare workers. We are trying our best. And please don't take any commodity for granted.
What are your views on any of like? Have you experienced your hospital, Dr. Namrata?
What was the question?
No, like any of the social problems, like someone broke the ventilator, something related to that. Anything
Um,
in your hospital?
yeah, there was something that had happened in the intensive care unit once, and it was reported to the higher authorities. This was after the announcement, after the guard had given an open letter that they will withdraw their services if anything sort of like this was reported again. But unfortunately, this event that had happened in the ICU was not reported, and the doctors had to latch the ICU from inside so that the relatives could not enter in and create more problem.
Oh my God.
This was on night duty. My friend was doing that night duty, but it was not reported. Like, nobody knows about it. Many things like this happen and they go
Yeah,
unnoticed.
they happen almost every day.
There
There's a
is a
lot
lot of mismanagement.
mismanagement, and there's a lot of anger also among relatives.
Mm.
I mean that, and we have to bear the brunt of it many a times.
Mhm. So, like, what overall message, what like we could, maybe this organization or like just anyone to like step in, because there's a lot of things that
Could you could you repeat your question, Ishita?
no, I was
Your voice.
what
I think there's some problem with internet.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just saying, what what do you what do you think we could do that could help, like, could solve the like such issues that don't go unnoticed, people not even aware. I personally, you told me, and there might be so many who have no idea. What do you think we can do, or like what the general public?
Mm.
I think the general public can firstly try to just, I mean, each individual can just try and be safe for once, not get infected. That's the first thing. And the next thing that they can do, I think, is just when something happens, it's completely understandable that you are going through a lot of pain. Losing a loved one is not easy. That's understandable, but try and understand that we as doctors are also quite helpless. It's not like we want to, inflict that pain on you. So it's, and we're quite helpless. Like we ourselves try our best to save people, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So just I think people should just try and understand and try to be easy on us, because ultimately doctors are not God, and this disease is something that I think most doctors also have not been able to fully understand. Everybody is trying to come up with their own theories. So, yeah, as an organization, I think just you guys are doing a great job already by creating awareness and talking about mental health for doctors and a lot of things. That's quite commendable. But I think as the general public, I think people should just try and be a little more understanding that we are also trying our level best. Like and yeah, just try and not convert that sorrow into anger and inflict that a wrong emotion basically in times of pain.
Is there anything you all want to like share with the public, because this video will be like shared to a lot of people as be saved, or any of you want?
I would like to share something. I think people should now at least learn to be a bit more compassionate. They should learn to be compassionate towards just other human beings. Uh, it's like, okay, we are really the junior most in our hospital right now. Me, Shauri, Rukmi. But even the way our seniors treat us, that is also important. So everyone has to be compassionate towards each other, not just doctor. It should be also doctor to a servant. It should also be the servant to
That's true.
the patient's relatives. Okay,
True.
everyone has to at least try to have that patience, be a bit more compassionate, try to understand if this situation is not easy.
Thank you for
That's
sharing.
true. That's true.
If you have, yeah, go ahead.
I think someone asked a question. How do we convince the ones who are specifically waiting for Sputnik in and vaccine will do same functioning? Sampada has asked this question. First of all, we don't know when Sputnik is coming, and before that, if you get infected, then God save you all. Because now everyone is coming with moderate to severe pneumonia, even young individuals. If you all think that, भिवपाची गरज ना and immunity bari aisa, but nothing like that. The second wave is affecting even young generation, and please go and take whichever vaccine is available. Don't wait for a specific vaccine. It's better to be safe than sorry. Third wave, what?
Don't wait for the third wave.
Yeah, don't wait for the third.
What's your take on including non-medico and other functional branches in the fight against pandemic? Rukmi.
Non-medico and other branches, as in who else do we want to? I didn't get the question.
Non-medicos would be dental also because they are helping us a
Okay.
lot. Bond
Yeah,
I think
dentals are helping us a lot.
that requires a mention. I mean, people who are dental college have been of great help actually, and they're trying their best in spite of having very little knowledge on this whole
Of
disease.
course.
They're trying their best to
Even
help.
if there are Ayurvedic doctors and
Yeah.
they are really helping.
In fact,
Yeah.
in healthcare, I mean,
Shortage of
Ayurvedic,
doctors are really
homeopathic, any other allied branch, whichever. In fact, not just doctors. I think nurses, the MTS staff, everybody deserves huge amounts of respect for just take. They've all been of
True.
great help for putting us through this challenging time. So, and like Namrata says, we've got to learn to be compassionate towards each other because we've all been through a very challenging time. So, I think we've learned we have to not take each other for granted. I think it's high time we all realize this. It almost feels like
True.
the end of the world. We have to
He's asking
live
MSc
life like that.
engineering students, etc. We need more
Engineering
working
students, engineering students can maybe make better ventilators for us.
Yeah. Please make ventilators for us.
hands. Please come. After vaccine, sometimes people do get fever and other side effects. How long should we wait before we consult a doctor after the vaccine shot?
I don't think fever lasts for more than 2 to 3 days. The fever
Yeah.
that comes with the
It
vaccine.
doesn't.
So if that fever lasts for more than maybe 7 days, you can maybe consult. 3 to 4 days maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not something to be worried about, I think. You can just take a paracetamol and see if it subsides.
Pandemic has derailed career planning done by most young doctors. How has it affected you all, and how you'll cope with the sudden change?
Yeah, actually, this is one question I wanted to ask you because Dr.
Yeah,
and Dr. Amrita both had their knee not even cancelled, not even like the date hasn't confirmed yet. So, how is your like future education planning being affected?
everyone was frustrated the day we came to know that the exam was postponed. That was in January, and then again the exam got postponed in
In
April. And the exam got postponed. So it was frustrating, and especially the preparation was getting affected to prepare for the exam because of the pandemic, because of continuous duties.
Yeah.
So I think Shauri and I, we used to study through online courses. By that time, Rukmi had already gotten her postgraduate seat, so I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
We long way to go right now.
Mm.
Waiting
It's very
for the
difficult to do duties and come back home and study. It's not very really possible, especially when you're doing duties in PPE. It's very exhausting.
Yeah.
Even those 6 hours and 12 hours are exhausting. Very, very exhausting.
Yeah, it's anyway hard for people to study at this moment in time. You are already doing a duty, coming home and studying. That's just, yeah, I get that. Yeah. If the audience has any more questions, you can keep putting in the chat. I think we're getting very perfect answers from these doctors, and it's great opportunity, I think.
Okay, someone is asking here who is keeping record of data of COVID infections after first and second dose of vaccination, and that's after vaccination. It is worth a PhD level study. See, I think every hospital, like when a patient comes to casualty, we ask them their vaccination history, and it gets recorded in their case papers. So that's how you collect the data. And we have recently even made Google Forms where we update all the details. So that's how you come to know. How many times did you all got infected and how was the experience? I got infected once, that is last year in June 2020. It was a mild infection. I was under isolation and I had to be isolated in a separate facility. That time there was no home isolation, and then after 10 days, I was at home.
If I'm not mistaken, Shauri was the first doctor to be tested positive during the first wave
Yeah, yeah.
from JMC.
Oh, and Dr. Rita, you were speaking to me the other day and you mentioned the testing system is not that accurate as well. Like you were
Yeah.
positive and then you negative in 2 days and positive again. What was that? What was the scenario?
I was tested negative first, but then I repeated the test after 3 days, and then I turned out to be positive. But it was a low viral load, and later on, I was asymptomatic. So and that's what I was saying, that many people, they quickly go for testing after they find out that somebody is tested positive. But after 3 days or after 5 days, they turn out to be positive as well.
I think
So
you should
after
get,
testing, you should isolate yourself.
yeah, I think you should isolate. The moment you come in contact with someone positive, make sure that you isolate yourself properly. Like you wear a mask even at home. Try to stay in a separate room.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
testing
And
is
I
not the
used to
most
stay in my
important.
room and sleep separately. Yeah.
I think
So that's very important.
every test has its own, to be talking in technical terms, each test has its own sensitivity and things like that. So, not, I mean, you might be positive and you might not test positive sometimes. So, that's always there for every test involved in medical sciences. But then it's important that you take your own precautions. If you know that you've come in contact or if you know that you have even minor symptoms, make sure that you isolate yourself and try and take an oath that you don't infect anybody else in your house, because a lot of patients come to us and say that doctor, I didn't go anywhere outside the house but I still got infected. So it's not always people have this misnotion that you get infected from outside your house. That's not always true. There is a high possibility of getting infected from the people you live with, because that's where you're always roaming around without a mask, and you come in
Yeah.
close proximity to people at home. So, and
True.
younger generation, I think we need to be the most careful because we have very, I'd say social lives.
Yeah.
So you got to take that precaution and try not get infection from outside and give it to our parents or grandparents.
Thank God the lockdown has been imposed and social lives have been cut down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people don't, really follow. Certain people don't follow restrictions
Mm.
unless something is imposed.
So yeah, whether the testing is accurate or not, I think it's important that you isolate yourself and take precautions always,
Mhm. There's
whether you
another
test positive or not.
I think about happy hypoxia. How do we make sure our oxygen levels are fine in case we don't have oxygen?
I think if you don't have an oximeter, it's very difficult to track your oxygen levels. But then, try and the moment you feel like you might have COVID, I think try to get hold of a oximeter because monitoring your saturation is one of the most important things to do when you get COVID.
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
there can be a
and
sudden
there's something
drop
called
in,
6 minute.
yeah, so you
6 minute.
walk on exertion. Basically, if you do anything, any minor form of exertion, if your saturation drops, that's when you come to know that there might be a lung involvement. So it's very important that you monitor your saturation once you get infected.
And how
So for
many
those who
times?
don't know what
Yeah, go
for
ahead.
those
Go
who
ahead.
don't know what happy hypoxia is basically mostly seen in young individuals who have robust immune system. So your saturation is already dropping down. It's 90, 80, but you don't feel breathless because of, a very robust immune system. So what you can do is regularly check your oxygen saturation levels. They should be above 95. And there is something called a 6 minute test. Okay, 6 minute walk test. So what you do is you walk inside your own room for 6 minutes and then you record your saturation. So before walking, you record your saturation and after taking the 6 minute walk.
Mhm.
So anytime the saturation falls below 94 or 4 below the baseline, 4% below the baseline, then it is something to worry about and you should report to the hospital.
And how many times can a person be COVID positive? That's one question.
Nobody knows.
See, once you're
And
infected, it's said that you have immunity for around 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Rukmi, do we have any cases within 3 months of
Uh,
infection, reinfection
I think
cases?
in healthcare workers, I've had a few colleagues who got infected even after a month of testing positive. So actually, the thing is, after getting COVID, there's no surety that you might not develop antibodies also. There's a chance that you don't develop antibodies also. So
yeah,
you can
it's
get
in.
infected if your exposure has been like your viral load has been low. So there is a possibility. People have been infected more than 2 times as well in this in these two
Yeah,
waves.
especially healthcare workers.
Yeah, people who are exposed constantly do get infected multiple times.
And this is a really nice question. These difficult times and so much put in and everything, how do you regenerate yourself? Like that's interesting because we focus so much on like the situation, but we really like you know this president, the doctor, as well as one of us. What do you do to like take your mind out of the situation after your duty? What do you, Shauri, Doctor Shauri?
So how do I rejuvenate myself? First of all, I do what I like. So being mentally fine is very important at the end of your shifts. I think that's the most important thing. Besides, what you do to keep your physical health fit. Like you take steam and vitamins, that's another story. But to keep yourself mentally fit, I think for me, music is what I love to do. Some people like reading books, and they should do that. So do whatever you like at the end of your shift. When you come home, I think that's what helps me. Or watching a movie, something like that.
What about
Yeah, same here. I listen to music. In fact, my favorite part of the day is when I'm driving back home. So I blast like good music, and that's the best part. After a duty,
Yeah,
listen to good music, and coming home is also my next good my next best part of the day. I try
home
to,
food.
yeah, get home food. I have my bed. That's the best part. I try and come home as much as possible.
mm,
Same here.
Spend time with family.
yeah.
Yeah, spending with family.
And we
Spend
do
time.
take precautions at home
Oh yeah.
while interacting with our elders. We do wear mask at home.
Mm,
We stay in our room most of the time.
Yeah.
okay. We have a few more questions.
Do you see COVID situation improving in the near future?
I think COVID is going to be like any influenza, flu. So how the way it's seasonal with any other flu, I think there's a high possibility that it's going to come back again. If not this year, then next year. So we've got to prepare ourselves every year for a wave or whatever.
So with that question, I wanted to ask what change, anything do you think for like doctors especially? Now we see doctors are like a shock and everything. So the students are in like medical like learning medicine. Do you see any like curriculum change so that they're taught more about like COVID situation? If there's like a really crisis kind of situation, would it be like all the students would have to work, hospitals? Do you see that happening?
I think it's important that we start educating younger doctors, MBBS from MBBS level about how to manage a basic patient, whose saturation drops or something like some basic COVID management skills have to be taught at a junior level. I mean, it needs to start.
I think some of our juniors are already giving teleconsultation. So that's a great thing.
I didn't know this. Quite commendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, if not manage a patient in the ward, at least be able to, consult somebody on the phone or over social
Phone.
media.
Yeah.
That's quite helpful. And I see a lot of people already doing that. So
Mm. And there's another question. What alerts would you like to put forward or
Third wave. Third wave is mostly going to affect the kids. So we are already preparing. We have prepared with 60 bedded pediatric ICUs currently.
Yeah.
So it's mostly going to affect the kids. We are expecting it according to the survey. It's coming in 6 months. There's one more question. Can you get infected with black fungus without being COVID positive?
I think black fungus, we mostly see
It's more of opportunistic infection.
in people who have very
Whenever
low
your immunity
immunities.
goes
Yeah.
down, yeah,
It was not seen
that's
so
the
much
time.
before.
What alerts would you like to put forward of third wave?
I think the alerts remain the same and they're quite simple. Everybody has to just learn to keep their mask on the nose and
And
try and
social.
avoid. I think another important message that needs to get through is people need to start avoiding closed spaces. I think ventilating your house helps a lot. Like if somebody is infected, besides staying in a separate room, try to keep all your windows and doors open at all times. Try to make sure that there's cross ventilation in the house. because most of the cases that we see are in closed offices which have ACs running at all times. So avoid like enclosed cars with ACs running inside. So
Yeah.
all that needs to be kept in mind. We have to try and keep whichever space that you're meeting people, try to keep your windows open, keep your mask on at all times. More than sanitize, like using the sanitizer and all, I think that needs to be emphasized more because that's what we've noticed that it spreads more easily in a closed space.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
People need to be more careful about that.
What about the newly developed home testing kit for COVID? How accurate do you think its results?
I think it's same the antigen test, right?
The
It's
antigen
not going to be very sensitive.
false false negative reports that.
It's going to give many false negative reports. So if you still have the symptoms, you have to go for RT-PCR. It's not going to be very reliable. Antigen is not, if the antigen test is positive, you are positive.
It is
But if it's
definitely
negative, but if it's negative, it does not rule out COVID.
Mm-hmm. Please explain people about 6-minute walk test, which can help people to detect happy hypoxia.
Shauri
Hi,
has
Dr. Namesh. I've already explained about the 6-minute walk test.
I think you can rewatch the video too.
Yeah.
And what are you
something
doing?
about
Yeah, mental health. What
how
are
do we
your views?
Ishita, what do we do about mental health? There was an article put up on Globe Uplift that today.
No, I think a few weeks back or something. But what
Yeah.
are your ideas about it? Like, you guys are the best people who can talk about mental health, like going through so much physically, mentally. I think, yeah. What do you think?
I think we should really speak for ourselves. And if you know you're exhausted, just tell the person that you are exhausted. Don't push yourself to the limits. Don't do extra. Like, I think that's the main thing, that we don't speak. We feel a lot of pain, but we don't tell like our co-workers that no, we can't do it. And another thing is, when we come back home, there should be a peaceful environment for us. And also, okay, if we are exhausted, we shouldn't take it out on the people who we live with. That is what I'm saying, that we should all be compassionate in the end, because everyone is going through a lot, and it can be different things. It can be job issues, unemployment, then it can be very silly things also can hurt people a lot. So just don't like go out of your way and trouble someone. Be more compassionate, and that is just about mental health.
Yeah.
And don't be too harsh on yourself.
That's what we
It's
think.
okay if you feel a certain way on certain days. It's perfectly fine. And I think if you're feeling too depressed for a long period of time, you should talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You know, people don't go to a psychiatrist because of all the stigma that they have. And I really want to tell people it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to speak about it. So please go and talk to someone. If you don't want to talk to a psychologist, maybe you can call up a friend and vent it out, you know.
Yeah.
And if that's not working, then you can go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Someone who is not biased.
Is there anything that you doctors lack in and around your workplace? If there is something, what is it, and how would it make the workplace different from what it is now? That's a good question.
Very good question, Anish. Yeah, a few days back we had a shortage of oxygen. Then some ports were not working, oxygen ports were not working, though we had concentrators. And in between, there was shortage of remdesivir also, I think. And people were just running around asking for remdesivir. Let me tell you, remdesivir has limited efficacy and it's based on limited evidence. So it's not a wonder drug. So please don't make things like remdesivir and tocilizumab the whole and soul of COVID treatment. There's a very wrong notion about among public, about this.
I think as far as
Also, we
limitations
are
at the
short.
workplace are concerned, we've had a lot of limitations, and that's mainly because we've had too many cases than Goa can handle. So we've had a limitation of resources, and everybody has tried their best to, make best use of whatever limited resources that we've had. And yeah, I think a lot of people have already spoken about it also on social media about the lack of oxygen, lack of equipment, and
Yeah.
I see that donations also are being made towards these limitations, which is a good sign. But yeah, so once I think that's more of a administrative level thing. So once the government realizes that there are shortcomings, that's the only time they'll be able to fulfill. Otherwise, as the general public, there's nothing much that we can do.
Right.
I and like a lot of there are like innumerable issues actually, like even in super specialty, like there was I mean super specialty block. It's new, but then there was no water in the washrooms in our ICU duty room,
So,
no beds, there were no proper facilities at all, and we had to just start working there. So yeah, I mean if you start
There were
naming,
leakages also.
yeah, leakages were after the storm, and like
oh,
Yeah.
issues were innumerable. But then, there are some things that you cannot help it because they're more of an administrative thing.
mm,
People have already spoken about it on a lot of social media platforms.
yeah.
It's just up to the government to realize.
Mm. Um, is it true that black fungus is caused due to improper mask hygiene? Any advice on use of masks?
Mhm.
I think it
Yeah,
can.
the moisture,
Yeah.
the moisture can contribute to, black fungus cases because when you overuse the mask and don't wash it properly, you can contract it because it's an opportunistic infection. So if anytime your immunity is low or if you're a diabetic, you can get the infection. So change your mask regularly. If you're using a cloth mask, wash it and use it. If you're wearing N95, dry it in the sun. And if you're wearing surgical mask, they're disposable. You cannot use it again.
Even general hand hygiene
Mm.
would
Yeah.
help. Try to
And
avoid touching your nose and mouth.
yeah. And is there any improvement in the number of cases after the lockdown in Goa?
It wasn't a lockdown. It was a
Yeah, it was a curfew, not a lockdown.
Oh, is it like extended now?
No, they've just,
Yeah, till
yeah.
31st of May.
I think the
Yeah,
case,
there has been slight improvement. I won't say no, there has been improvement.
Mm.
I think
But still, there are
it's
deaths
just that
happening.
everybody's gotten infected and now the numbers are just coming down. I wouldn't call it an improvement. We're still
Yeah.
having, we're still losing lives, we're still losing people. So it's not really an improvement. I don't know how much of the credit goes to the lockdown. Maybe probably if there were stricter rules earlier, it would have helped.
Yeah.
It came in
True.
too late. Now the cases are just coming down probably because
Mm.
everybody's just already gotten infected.
And also the isolation period is reduced from 17 to 10 days. So
Yeah.
I think that is also helping in showing the count of active cases. Yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are being shown as recovered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dr. Vibhav is asking a question. From new rookies to critical care physicians, what preparation went into making the transition possible?
Wow.
I think knowledge that is being passed on by senior doctors, I think their guidance, our residents, it's a teamwork. And the fact that we are in this profession and we've accepted that we'll, try our best to do anything when any situation arises. And we have to be prepared for it.
I think times have been the best teacher in this situation.
Definitely.
Wow, amazing questions, and wow, we learned so much more. Like, personally knowing someone and organizing this was like a great thing, because usually people are not aware about like the inside things that happens in the hospitals, especially what you spoke about, the duty room, the situation there, the leaks and everything. Like, all these things we would not know just normally. And we see how the media is more focused on what's happening with the other things rather than like the doctors themselves, who are like, the saviors of this whole situation. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing everything so openly, being like so generous with your time. I know you have duty next, so I think I'll leave you guys to it. And please send the questions to any of them on direct message on Instagram, or you can also send it to us on @globe.uplift. And yeah, if you would want us to organize something similar with like more focused on a similar situation, like related to black fungus or any other specific thing, we can bring in one doctor to talk more in depth about it. Or you can also message them to create a reel or something. I'm sure they would love to create something and spread awareness. So I think so we can all contribute to the situation getting better. I think what we can do is, once we save this video, you can share it with as many people as you can, because this information is like valuable to all of us. So thank you so much, doctors. Take care, and I'll see
Thank
you
you
soon.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
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 Take care.
Take care.